So in this video, I want to talk about gratitude and the power of gratitude. I started practicing intentional gratitude a couple of years ago, and basically when I'm driving or when I'm swimming. So these are the two times when I just can't be distracted by my phone, and I just feel like I have some mental space to work with. I just stop and I think about as many things as I can think of to be grateful for, and I give thanks to God for those things. And I want to list 7 different observations about this after a couple years of practicing this. One is how many things I have to be grateful for. It's amazing when you start to think about blessings in your life. You know, one thing leads you to another, and many times have a 20-minute drive. By the time I get there 20 minutes later, I'm still thinking of things because there's so many things we have to be grateful for. The second thing is how easy it is to overlook those things. And this is the most challenging and convicting part of this whole thing for me, is how easy it is to complain, and the old idea that the glass is half empty or half full. It feels like life is always like that to some extent. Even in the best moments, there's challenges and things that can steal your joy. Even in the worst moments, there's something that you can be thankful for. And so my experience has just been, I've realized my default is always to go to the negative things and for those to occupy my emotional energy. And part of that might be my personality as I'm learning more about the Enneagram 4 and the ways we function. But I think probably a lot of us are like this, where it's easy to focus on the things that are difficult about life and forget to be thankful for the blessings that are in our lives. Number 3 is what a difference it makes. I expected this because I'd been doing a little bit of research about the power of gratitude and the way it can cultivate joy and well-being. And I expected this to make maybe like a 5% bump in my emotional status on any given day. And having been doing this for a while now, I'd have to say it's more like 30 to 40 to 50%, somewhere in that range, in terms of just the difference it makes and how it colors life and how it produces joy. It's been much more significant than I realized. A fourth thing I've observed is that it actually doesn't matter that much whether you're practicing gratitude for big things or little things. So I often start with really big things that I'm grateful for in my life. My family, for example, my wife and my kids, I'm so grateful for them. That's always a starting point, or often a starting point. But to get the benefits of gratitude, you can even just focus on little things. And sometimes that's even helpful. Just, the weather today, what I had to eat today, little simple things that can fill your heart with joy as you direct your mind and your attention to gratitude for those things. The fifth thing I noticed is that it can work even when you're depressed, or even when you're anxious, or even when you're struggling. That's actually one of the things that led me to start practicing this. I was going through a difficult time, and I want to be careful with this because I don't think that gratitude's the only thing we need when we're struggling. And maybe there's some people when their circumstances are severe where this could not be attainable for them. So I leave room for that. But as a generalization, I think you can practice gratitude and reap the benefits of it even in difficult seasons of life. And I've discovered this where, even if you feel like I don't have anything to be grateful for right now because I'm suffering, there's usually something that you can, just my breath. Every single breath that I get is something I can be grateful for. The memories, happy memories, things that cannot be taken from me. It'll never be the case that they didn't happen. I can direct my heart and mind to gratitude for those things. Other things that are helping me get through this time of suffering. I really believe this, that gratitude can help us in those difficult seasons of life. It's not just something that you practice once you've arrived or once you've attained your goals. In fact, I think the quote that started all of this for me was from an Anne Voskamp book where, and I can't remember the exact wording, but she says something like, "Joy does not lead to gratitude, gratitude leads to joy." Now that's a simple sentence or 2 sentences, But I have become so convinced that that's really profound as a way to approach life day by day. Not delaying joy and gratitude until we've arrived and gotten what we're looking for, but actually pursuing joy right now, based upon whatever we currently have, and gratitude leading us to joy. I don't understand how that works. A psychologist could explain that better. And again, you leave room for people who are in severe trauma. Okay, that's maybe a special circumstance to some extent. But for most of us, day by day, gratitude can be something we practice amidst the ups and downs. The sixth thing that I noticed is that gratitude can become a habit. And this often happens for me when I'm in the water now. So I swim maybe 4 times a week. I love the pool that I swim at. Is this beautiful, clean outdoor pool, and I've been to a few gyms where the water is not as clean. So it's easy to be grateful for the fact that this is a clean pool. And it's just, I live in this beautiful place where there's sunshine so much. And I found that I've been doing it for not that long, a couple of years, but long enough that I just find myself instinctively throughout, when I'm in the water, I just find myself instinctively saying thank you to God for just the simple pleasure of getting to swim in this beautiful pool. But also then my mind just goes, and I just start thinking of so many things that I have to be grateful for. And it really is amazing the difference that it makes. And it's a cool thought that gratitude can become a habit. And it just is, it's kind of a scary thought that complaining can become a habit. And it just makes this thought come to my mind. To just imagine being an older person, me when I'm 70 years old or something like that, if I live that long. And you've been practicing gratitude for so long that it's just instinctive, to the point where you just have this, it's like breathing. You don't think about breathing anymore. You just have this instinctive stream of gratitude flowing out of your heart. And I think that's a pretty an awesome thought. And I don't think that's overblown or something like that. If you're a Christian or if you're a theist, then you actually have a rationale for being grateful for everything, because part of what that means is everything that is good has a source. Everything good is a gift. It all flows from God. And therefore gratitude, cultivating a grateful heart for everything, from the little nitty-gritty things of life to the great blessings of life, is totally appropriate as a response. The last thing that I think about with gratitude is that it flows from a humble heart. So think about, and this is in the spirit of wanting to encourage others to give this a try. Imagine what it feels like to wake up in the morning and you sit before your breakfast, and instead of just assuming, of course I'm going to get breakfast, I have breakfast every day, you actually direct your mind and heart to the fact that this is awesome. Who am I that I get to eat this wonderful food and have a cup of coffee and enjoy this? And again, those simple things you can cultivate gratitude for. And then you go out from breakfast and you walk out the front door and you go into your day. And throughout the day, cultivating this sense of wonder, like, who am I that I get to know these people, that I get to have these opportunities, that I get to live this life? And I think that's an appropriate thing to pursue. Again, leave a little wiggle room in times of extreme suffering. I don't want to act as though this is at odds with lament. Nonetheless, I think that's an appropriate mentality to have that springs from having a humble heart, where you think of yourself as this tiny person in this huge world. You don't assume anything. You're grateful to be alive. I didn't do anything to produce my existence, and the fact that I'm here to enjoy all of this, thinking of the world as this huge place and I'm this tiny person and I get to be a part of it. And it makes me think of the character George Bailey in the movie It's a Wonderful Life, and I just love the way he changes in the context of that movie, and something breaks in him to where at the end he goes from having been in despair to he's like running through the streets, yelling Merry Christmas to people. He comes home and he's hugging his kids, and his heart is just overflowing with joy at the gift of being alive. And I think humility can produce that sense, like, who am I that I get to have these blessings in my life? Who am I that I get to be alive and interact with these, and whatever your context is, whatever your job is, whatever your family situation is, whatever your life is like, there's a way to pursue that sense of, I'm a tiny person, the world is very big, who am I that I get to enjoy these things? And that's a pretty powerful way to cultivate joy in our lives. And I just wanted to share that in the spirit of saying, give it a try. I think you'll be amazed at the difference that it can make.